Hello there and welcome to Ion Pod. It is proudly brought to you by Ghana Community Network Services GCNet, West Blue Consulting, Goyle Company Limited, and Ghana Revenue Authority. Our proud media partners for this program is the Business and Financial Times, Graphic Business, Ghana Web, Maritime and Transport Digest, and a host of others. Folks, this program brings the port activities closer to you and also bring you closer to the happenings around the port and maritime industry. Now, there is not too good news around the Ghana Revenue Authority's activities and institution in particular, because not long ago we brought you the news item that says that the finance minister as well as his deputy and then the commissioner general paid a courtesy call on the customs outfit within the port industry. There was a warning to the staff of customs that, look, government needs a lot of revenue from the ports and also from the business that transacts around the port industry. However, government is not getting that revenue and there's a lot of leakages. Government then sounded a caution to customs that, look, if you're not ready to get us the revenue, then we're ready to wage war on you. This week, however, the staff of customs are also saying that it is the politicians who are causing the revenue leakages around the ports there, and that if care is not taken, they are ready to face that war that government is bringing across and also expose the politicians who are also causing the leakage. Take a listen.
Workers of the Ghana Revenue Authority have registered their displeasure at what they term as political interference in the work of the authority. According to the staff of the GRA, the interference from government is affecting the morale of staff of the Revenue Generating Authority to give off their best. The aggrieved workers at Derba in Accra accused their management and some politicians of interference in their work, which they lamented is hampering the operations of the GRA. Although they fell short of mentioning names, they said the extent of interference is such that it will make it difficult for the tax collection body to meet its revenue targets for this year. They cite, for instance, the irregular recruitment of personnel into the service whose competence usually is in doubt due to their poor performance.
The same people who came into political appointments have their children as clearing agents who are using exemptions to clear goods. Is that not conflict of interest?
Secretary of the National Union of GRA Workers, Kenchunebua Kodua, said those interfering in their work should put a stop to the practice of ordering custom officers and GRA staff to discharge and release impounded contraband goods.
When you are not lucky and you want to behave like a proper custom man, somebody at the port wants to show you where power lies. He says, an importer, I'll move you, and the next day you are moved. Is that what they want? No. They can choose to listen or not to listen.
Government, as part of the ECOWAS protocol, removed a number of customs officers from the vantage points to allow unhindered movement of vehicles. The union is, however, calling on government to bring the men back because their absence is impacting on revenue generation.
You remove the barriers, what protocol. It's not our protocols. Sometimes now when somebody escapes or is able to come out at Tamaport with a container, that's all, because there's no way you can trace it. But the barriers were there to serve as checks.
So a lot of heat in the outfit of the Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority, and Ghana Revenue Authority in general there. The earlier we find some solution and get the needed revenue for country is all we are looking for, the better. Folks, so as we talk about leakages and how leakages can be dealt with, this week in our live interaction with the stakeholders who operate around the port, we engaged the Ghana Community Network Services, GCNet. This entity is the one that is serving as a backbone to government in terms of securing revenues for government electronically. They provide IT solutions services on behalf of customs and on behalf of the Ghana Revenue Authority. A lot of revelations came out of that discussions.
The General Manager in charge of Technical Administration of Ghana Community Network Services, GCNet, SACKEY, has indicated that his outfit, which is an IT service provider in the port community, is going to introduce a more sophisticated tracking device on transit cargoes as an improvement on the existing one.
I made a point that we're actually evaluating other devices as well. Yeah, and so and these things are they are made to order, and so you need to put it on on a few vehicles, then with different cables, try them over a period of time, and after that you then make the investment decision.
He said this is to improve the securing of revenue for the government away from unscrupulous individuals or syndicates who have resorted to manipulating the existing system to divert cargoes destined for the transit market due to some flaws with the existing tracking devices.
And those ones which we've had defects, we've actually sent to manufacturers. We call it RMA. They repaired it and we bought new ones. We just took delivery of some new devices. We've actually also got new devices which are being trialed. So there are 3 different devices that are being trialed, and it's been done on the quiet.
SACKEY, who was speaking on Iron Port's interactive platform that allows stakeholders in the port industry to uncover their various activities and address associated challenges live on national television, expressed his support for containerized cargo to be used for transit as it better accommodates tracking devices, and asked for governmental support to enforce interstate transit laws.
How can they secure such cargoes?
And that's why there's some particular type of cargo that is not supposed to go on flatbed. If you're
but they are going.
But that's we are not enforcing what the law is.
He said the Ghana Community Network Services is in charge of creating the customs management systems to generate government revenue from taxes on imports, as well as create a seamless online platform for all licensed regulatory agencies who participate in the port space and facilitate trade. According to SACKEY, the GCNet platform is accessed by the importer or the customs broker at the beginning through to the end of the import clearance process, and this is totally electronic and transparent.
It's actually very transparent. Okay, so here's what the thing is. You know, the importer, and we actually said that when the broker is preparing your declaration, on the importer side, you put your telephone number, he puts your phone number there. Every transaction, every change that goes through the system, you get a text notification. That's one. And so you get to see all the applicable taxes based on the HS code that and the consignment you're bringing in.
Addressing the concerns of importers on being cheated by their freight forwarders, SACKEY revealed that there is a system that allows duties to be checked through text messaging on all networks using the short code 1477, as well as a mobile app that can track every stage of the consignment's clearance. He advised importers to demand their declaration numbers from their clearing agents in order to access this.
If you are in Ghana, the short code 1477, and this is all networks. If you put 1477
is a code.
Yeah,
for
text message.
Text message.
You put your bill of lading number. If it's a car, you put the chassis number there. If it's your declaration. So you see, the thing is, ask your importer or your agent to tell you your declaration number.
He also revealed that a new manifest regime is to be introduced soon, where every detail of each consignment will be provided in the manifest of the shipping lines in order to improve risk management at the ports of Ghana. According to the GCNet General Manager, the development addresses the complexities associated with some revenue leakages in customs management.
And the shipping lines actually several of them have completed, they've tested, several of them have started using it. And so if all shipping lines, and I think that within the next 2 weeks or so, we should be able to close that and you see it actually being rolled out. Then you have additional information to do better risk assessment for you to be able to actually ascertain whether what he said, that part of it is fridge and part of it is car, is actually correct.
GCNet is a public-private partnership where government is entitled to 35% of the company's revenue, and according to SACKEY, 20% shares goes to the Ministry of Finance through the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, 10% goes to the Ghana Shippers Authority, and 5% goes to the GCB Bank as due dividend.
GCNet, government actually owns 35%. Okay. So this 20%...
GCNet?
Yes, this is the custom side, which is normally under Ministry of Finance, and then you have have the Shippers Authority, which is 10%, and then GCB is 5%.
So definitely a lot of things need to be looked at when it comes to securing revenue in the port. Now you listen to Mr. Carl SACKEY in that particular interview conceding that the tracking devices that are hooked onto the trucks that take cargo from Ghana to the landlord nations are not of the best. If they are not of the best, what do you expect? Leakages will be in the system. You can't have a tracking device that just fall off once a truck hits a pothole. And we've got potholes everywhere in this country. What do you expect? Leakages. So somebody needs to be sitting up and somebody needs to be taking some supervisory role to ensure that we plug all of these loopholes around the system. Folks, again, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is also sending some sort of advice to truck owners who operate, and truck drivers as well, who operate around the ports, that look, there is the new Terminal 3 that's being operated by Meridian Port Services in the port. However, the tolls that truck drivers used to pay before, when they used to come to the Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, operated by MPS, are still the same tolls that they are supposed to be paying when they are either going to Terminal 3 or going to Terminal 2 or going to Terminal 1. Nothing has changed. You must endeavor to pay the tolls, because that is where the Ports and Harbours Authority also makes some revenue out of it and maintain the port.
The management of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has met with the transport unions whose members transport cargo to and from the port to educate them on the need to continue paying tolls after the commencement of the operations at the new MPS Terminal 3. This came at the back of the erroneous impression created among truck drivers that the payment of tolls are to be discontinued after the opening of the new MPS Terminal 3. GPHA, as a port authority, found the need to step in to remind drivers of their toll obligations. The Port Control and Monitoring Manager, who is also the chairman of the Transition Committee for the MPS Terminal 3, Gavin Amavi, insisted on the need for tolls to be continued to be paid to GPHA.
GPHA is the landlord. GPHA has the responsibility to take the toll. We are going to continue with the toll system. We are not going to change the price.
He explained that tolls are very essential in generating revenue to maintain port infrastructure and services.
The TCT road, have you seen the TCT? You saw the River Road. Yes. They did not construct it. They do not have security to run up and down on issues. The lighting system around the port, we provide those things.
He, however, mentioned that in the future, the payment of tolls would be properly integrated with the new electronic systems of the MPS Terminal 3 in order to improve efficiency for port customers.
We'll be going electronic, but we are setting it up. When we get there, we'll come and explain the way we want to do it to you, so that we do not bother you coming up and down or whatever it is.
GPHA said going forward, it would refuse service to truck drivers who refuse to abide by their toll obligations.
Driver gets there and they don't have their toll and they want to show off or flex, we will capture their car numbers and we would know the next action. We are asking that we shouldn't get to that stage. So let's all inform our members that tolls are expected to be paid.
Abna Sewa Opoku-Fosu, the Marketing and Public Affairs Manager of Tema Port, added that the tolls indirectly contribute to the funds of transport unions because registered drivers to these unions need to pay certain fees to their associations before they can pay tolls to the Port Authority.
Because we work with associations, the driver associations, I mean, the agents are, they will need to get the TLA, that is the transport loading tolls from the transport associations before they proceed to us, because that is how come we know that the truck they are using is a registered one.
She emphasized the need for drivers to register with their unions because they cater for challenges that arise from their work and also serves as an accountable party for the tracking of diverted cargoes.
We will urge the freight forwarders that they should try and use drivers that belong to identifiable associations. So when there are issues, we know where to fall. And then also it becomes easier addressing the challenges as they come.
The representatives of the transport unions shared some concerns, including traffic congestion at the entrance of the new Terminal 3, the need for a resting place for the driver's mates, and a parking space for trucks waiting to be loaded. GPHA affirmed their commitment to resolve these issues to relieve truck drivers, who are important stakeholders in the port logistics chain, of all potential stresses.
All the concerns that you put here, that you've raised, an area for the mate and other things, we'll look at that as well. We thank you for coming.
So on that note of advice, Iron Port, we'll be right back.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Dear valued client, the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is now live to make it easy to track your consignment and know the estimated duty payable for both general goods and used vehicles. We are pleased to inform you that the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is available for download on Google Play Store for Android users and the App Store for Apple users. This is the best opportunity for all importers and exporters to know the duty payable on every good under transaction. You can reach the team for inquiries and support by calling +233 242 435 663. Send an email to support@ghanastradinghub.com. To remain updated, kindly follow progress on the following platforms: www.facebook.com/Ghana Trade Hub, www.twitter.com/Ghana Trade Hub, and ghlinkedin.com/in/Ghana Trade Hub. Importers and exporters can download the official Ghana Single Window mobile app, which allows you to track your consignment conveniently and also allows you to obtain your estimated duty for general goods and used vehicles. Please spread the message to everyone importing or exporting. The Ghana Trading Hub mobile app is now live. Download and never be cheated. This is powered by the Smart Ports project under the auspices of the Government of Ghana and the Ghana Revenue Authority. Smart Port, improving Ghana's ease of doing business. Welcome back. You're still watching Iron Port. Next up, news and activities around the port and maritime industry, the local ones as well as the international ones.
The Ghana Community Network Services Limited has presented a check for 20 million Ghana cedi as dividends to government. The amount represents the second part payment for 2018 and first part payment for 2019 of government's 20% shareholding in GCNet, which is held by the Ghana Revenue Authority. GCNet provides e-solutions to government by offering electronic platforms for revenue mobilization and trade facilitation, easing trade processes with systems system availability nationwide. Presenting the check on behalf of GCNet, Deputy General Manager Emmanuel Dakon said the presentation of the dividend is a manifestation of GCNet's commitment to support government revenue mobilization efforts. He said the company had deployed its TRIP systems at 69 domestic tax revenue division, which has significantly helped in the achievement of revenue targets. He said even though trade volumes have reduced at the ports, which has affected revenue targets, GCNet is ever ready to deploy new applications that would help address the challenges to enhance revenue mobilization.
69 tax officers has shown that at least last year they met their target. This year they are on course, but it could still be better with certain measures that are put in place, among which are like the placement of the people who are taxpayers who've been registered but who are yet to be assigned to specific tax offices, and to ensure that they do the proper filing for all the tax payments.
Receiving the check, the Minister for Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, said GCNet plays an integral role in trade facilitation and revenue mobilization at the ports of Ghana. He said Ghana lagged behind peers in terms of revenue to gross domestic product, which currently stands at 12.6%, while most countries are doing about 19%. He expressed optimism that GCNet, with the deployment of technology, will bridge the gap.
We still got some long ways to go. You know, revenue to GDP is about 12.6%, and we need to move to 19%. So the interventions of service provider like GCNet is going to be very crucial to the way forward in terms of preventing leakages, etc.
The maritime and port industry presents great opportunities, and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority leverages on this to take in and train as many national service personnel as they can as contribution to the development of the youth of the country. The Tema Port Marketing and Public Affairs Manager, Abna Sewa Opokufusu, who is also the National Service Coordinator, has indicated that national service is taken very seriously by the organization and always makes it a point to contribute meaningfully to the holistic nurturing of the promising youth of Ghana.
Because of the importance that Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority attaches to the national service as a scheme or as a means of mentorship. Like I told them during my remarks to them, they have served, they have been mentored, and when they came to GPHA, we had about 4 programs for them.
She said for this reason, GPHA organizes seminars and mentorship programs every year during the stay of the national service personnel to prepare them for the job market.
We did a job skill for them. We also had somebody take them through how they will put up their CVs. We also had an entrepreneurship section for them. So these programs were done to build them up, so that even if they go out there and they do not get a job immediately on their own, they could start 1 or 2 things.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority National Service Batch of 2018-2019 has bid the organization farewell after being attached to work there as service personnel of the nation for nearly a year. The national service personnel, who number about 470 for the span of 11 months, were assigned to various departments, operational and administrative, where they were trained and supervised to take on technical intensive tasks that aided the Port Authority to render service to its clients more efficiently. The national service personnel has just held a week celebration to cap a year of hard work at the Port Authority, including a health and career talk, a donation exercise, sports competitions, a boat cruise, and a dinner and awards night. According to the president of the 2018-2019 National Service Personnel of GPHA, during their week celebration said they learned greatly on their task, which they believe would inure into beneficial careers, and expressed their pleasure towards the management of GPHA for making their stay worthwhile.
We had a really good year, and our members are really happy for what GPHA has done for us. And I think most of our colleagues have actually, working at GPHA is a whole workload on itself. GPHA is a very big corporate entity where they derive nothing but the best. You have to be the best in whatever you do.
Iran might release the UK-flagged Swedish-owned tanker Stena Impero if the UK does the same with the Iranian crude carrier it detained in Gibraltar earlier this month. Hassan Rouhani, president of Iran, hinted at the possible tanker swap in a statement issued on his website. We are not going to continue tensions with some European countries, and if they are committed to international frameworks and abandon some actions, including what they did in Gibraltar, they will receive a proper response from Iran. A week ago, Iran's Islamic Revolution Guards Corps, IRGC, seized Stena Impero in the Strait of Hormuz due to the alleged violations of international maritime law. Iran said that the ship turned off its tracker and repeatedly ignored IRGC warnings before it was boarded and seized. Dubai-based port operator DP World and Indonesia's conglomerate Maspion Group have signed 2 preliminary agreements with an aim to create a $1.2 billion container terminal and an industrial logistics park in the Indonesian province of East Java. As explained, this is the first joint venture of its kind in the Indonesian transportation sector, involving a private sector partnership between an FDI partner and a private sector Indonesian company in Maspion within the context of cooperation in maritime services with Pelindo 3. Under the 2 term sheet agreements, a modern integrated container terminal and a 360-hectare industrial and logistics park are planned to be constructed.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Time now to bring you the schedules of vessels that are sitting in the port, those that are far away at the anchorage, those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate that you need to know to clear your goods out of the port. And that's it for this week's episode of Eye on Port. I thank you for watching the program. I also have to show big time appreciations to all the national service folks who supported this program in their cause of helping and also helped in other areas of public affairs when it comes to doing business around the ports, particularly Kada Faisal and Ernest Thompson. These gentlemen have been very, very good to us. And like I always say, the Transport Minister did his national service at the port. So if you did your service and committed to it like these gentlemen, one day, we may see you becoming Transport Ministers. I wish you well. I wish the entire team well. Thanks a lot to the executive producers, Nana Isi Sudeberg and Esther JB Donko. See you next week.